The night was quiet in downtown Chicago. The tall glass building of Ridgeway Corporation gleamed against the city skyline, its lights shimmering like a beacon of success. Inside, marble floors reflected the last traces of daylight while office computers went dark one by one. The employees had gone home, rushing back to their families, their lives, their comforts. But one man remained, Daniel Carter, the janitor. He was a quiet man in his mid-30s, tall but slightly hunched from years of physical labor. His blue uniform was clean but faded, his shoes scuffed from endless mopping and sweeping. Every night, Daniel cleaned the same floors that people in suits walked across without ever noticing him. Yet he never complained. His hands were rough, his back sore, but his heart was gentle, filled with the kind of kindness that expected nothing in return. That night, he moved from office to office with his usual calm rhythm. His headphones played an old country song softly as he worked. He paused only once, glancing at a photo in his wallet, a smiling little girl with bright brown eyes and pigtails. His daughter, Lily. She was 7 now. She had lost her mother to cancer 3 years ago, and ever since, Daniel had been both father and mother to her. He worked 2 jobs, janitor by night, delivery driver by day. Yet despite his exhaustion, he always found time to read Lily bedtime stories and braid her hair before school. He had nothing much, but whatever he did have, he shared. What most people didn't know was that Daniel donated half his paycheck to the local children's shelter, the same place that once gave him and his late wife a crib when Lily was born and they couldn't afford one. He never forgot their kindness. And now, he gave back, month after month, quietly, without recognition. One night, fate decided to bring his secret into the light. Amelia Brooks, the CEO of Ridgeway, had stayed late at the office that evening. She was everything Daniel wasn't: powerful, wealthy, and feared. She had built her empire through sheer determination, breaking barriers as one of the youngest female CEOs in the country. But behind her sharp suits and calm voice was a woman who hadn't smiled in years. Success had made her rich but also lonely. Her office was filled with awards but empty of warmth. She was heading out when she saw Daniel mopping near the lobby. She barely recognized him. "You're still here?" she asked, her tone more surprised than anything. Daniel looked up, startled, then smiled faintly. "Yes, ma'am. Just finishing up before the night shift ends." Amelia nodded curtly and started toward the elevator. But as she passed the security office, she overheard 2 guards talking. "Yeah, Daniel did it again," one whispered. "Donated half his paycheck to the kids' shelter. Man barely has enough to buy groceries." Amelia stopped in her tracks. Half his paycheck. She frowned. It had to be some kind of misunderstanding. But curiosity lingered like an itch she couldn't ignore. The next morning, she called "Bring me the employment file of Daniel Carter," she said firmly. When the file arrived, she scanned through it. Widower. 1 child. Employed for 6 years. Never late. Never missed a day. Excellent conduct. She noticed something else: an optional payroll deduction form listing monthly donations to the Haven Children's Shelter. It was true. He gave away nearly half of what he earned. That night, Amelia couldn't sleep. She sat in her penthouse apartment, staring at her reflection in the glass window overlooking the city. She thought about the man mopping her floors while she drank imported wine and wore $1,000 suits. She thought about how he, with nothing, still gave, while she, with everything, never did. The next evening, she stayed late again, waiting for Daniel to finish his shift. When he noticed her still working, he gave a polite nod. She walked over. "Daniel," she began, "can I ask you something personal?" He looked unsure but nodded. "Of course, ma'am. I heard you donate half your paycheck to the Haven Shelter. Is that true?" Daniel froze, embarrassed. He looked down at his mop. Yes, ma'am. I try to help a little. The kids there, they remind me of Lily. Some of them don't even have parents. I figure, we can get by with what we have. They need it more." Amelia didn't respond right away. She felt her throat tighten, an unfamiliar ache in her chest. "But don't you struggle? Doesn't it get hard?" He smiled gently. "It does. But kindness isn't about what's easy. It's about what's right." That night, Amelia went home with tears she didn't expect. She thought about her own father, a janitor himself before he passed away. She remembered how hard he worked to send her to college. Somewhere along her rise to the top, she had forgotten the value of simple goodness. The next morning, Amelia called an emergency board meeting. Her executives shuffled in, confused. "We're starting a new initiative," she said. "Ridgeway Community Hearts, a program to support underprivileged children across the city." The board members exchanged looks. "Who's going to lead it?" one asked. "Daniel Carter," she said without hesitation. There was a stunned silence. "Ma'am, the janitor." "Yes," she said firmly. "Because leadership isn't about titles. It's about heart." That afternoon, Daniel was called to her office. Nervously, he walked in, holding his cap. "You wanted to see me, ma'am." Amelia stood and smiled, not the corporate smile she gave investors, but a real one. "Daniel, you've been part of this company for 6 years. You've shown more integrity and compassion than most people ever will. I want to promote you, Community Impact Coordinator. Full benefits, flexible hours, and a pay raise. You'll lead our new outreach program." Daniel's mouth fell open. "Ma'am, I don't know what to say, I'm just a janitor." "No," she said softly. "You're the reason I remembered what being human means." Tears welled in his eyes. "Thank you, Ms. Brooks. This means more than you can imagine." A few weeks later, the new program launched. Ridgeway funded shelters, food drives, and education centers for hundreds of children. Daniel visited schools, helped organize events, and became a symbol of quiet heroism. News outlets covered his story, calling him the janitor with the golden heart. Amelia often visited the shelter herself. One day, she saw Daniel helping his daughter hand out food trays. Lily looked up at her father with pure pride. "Daddy, everyone says you're a hero." He smiled and knelt beside her. "No, sweetheart, we just help people, that's what heroes do." Amelia watched them from afar, her heart full. For years, she had measured success in numbers and profits. Now she measured it in smiles, in laughter, in moments like these. Months passed. Ridgeway became known not just for its business but for its heart. Daniel's story inspired employees to volunteer and give back. Amelia found herself changed, softer, more grounded, more human. One evening, as the sun set behind the city skyline, Amelia and Daniel stood outside the company building. Lily ran ahead of them, chasing bubbles blown by a street performer. Amelia said quietly, "You know, Daniel, you changed this place. You changed me." He chuckled humbly. "All I did was mop the floors, ma'am." She smiled. "No, Daniel, you cleaned more than that. You cleaned the dust off my heart." And as the golden light bathed the building, two very different people, one powerful, one humble, stood side by side, united by something greater than wealth or status, the power of kindness.